Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me for another Assemble This video. Today we're going to be assembling the sweet little card that would be perfect for a kiddo. I have some new layering stencils that I'm excited to share, and plus I'm going to be stamping on the center of my card in a fun way to mask your sentiment so it starts on the front and ends in the center. To start out, I have some Hammermill cardstock on a sticky mat, and then the brand new Plaid Builder layering stencils from Unity Stamp Company. You can use these for so many different techniques, but I really love how easy it is to create a plaid background just with these two simple stencils. I'm starting out by using the thicker line first and placing the center line right in the center of my card. And the sticky mat is kind of holding everything for me, but I also have taped everything down so it doesn't slide across my desk. I just like to have extra assurance. And then today, to create my plaid, I'm going to be using Copic markers. And once everything was secured, I just grabbed my gray Copic marker and started to fill in each of those thick lines. I used the brush side of the marker. It just seemed to fill in that area better. And I just did a couple stripes to deepen that color. So you can do as many layers as you want. It will eventually just kind of soak in and blend on its own into that paper. And so I covered my card front with the gray lines, the gray thick lines first, pulled up my stencil, and then I just rotated it so I could do a crisscross pattern. Again, I'm just kind of lining it up so I get an even spacing of those thick lines, and then I'm just going to come back through and fill in with that Copic marker again. And these just create perfect straight lines every time. Today I'm doing a combo of gray, blue, and yellow just because I thought it was a bit boyish, which I thought would go great with that little lamb as well. So once I finish the gray lines, I'm going to move on to the thinner lines and use a blue. And in the stencil there's this thick portion, and I just lined that up over my thick lines, and then that gives me a perfect placement of these thin lines right around either side of those thick lines. And so once that was lined up, I just grabbed a blue Copic marker and then filled in all my lines, rotated my stencil once again, and then filled in my lines again. I am using one solid motion and in one direction, and that way the color will build up to the vibrancy that I want. And now to add in my third color of yellow, I'm going to flip my stencil back and again use that thin line to line up my other thin line. That way the yellow is going to be on either side of the blue. And you can play around with this placement. You can do as many layers as you want, as many colors as you want. It's just really fun to play around with and to see how that plaid really just kind of builds up as you go along. That was so easy to create, and I really love the combo of the gray, blue, and yellow, and this is going to be the background for my card base. Next up, let's focus on this cutie pie. I have some Nina Solar White cardstock in my Misty, and I'm stamping up the lamb from My Little Lamb front and center stamp set from Unity Stamp Company. I'm using some amalgam ink from Gina K because I know it's Copic friendly. And I just stamped that a couple times to get a nice solid impression. And then I put my sentiment from this kit. It says happy birthday to you. It's pretty punny. And I masked off the bottom portion, and I'm just stamping the happy birthday up in the corner. I'm going to create a banner and use that later. And then I'm also going to be stamping on the center of my card. I'm going to use that same sentiment. I'm going to mask off the top portion that said happy birthday, and I'm only going to be using the bottom that says to you. That way the sentiment starts on the front of my card and then finishes off on the center of my card. I just love how those tie together, and I really think it's fun how punny the sentiment is. to make a really cute birthday card for a little kiddo. I also wanted to bring that lamb in from the front to the inside, and I'm going to be stamping that with some Gina K ink in a really soft blue color that matched my card front. I tend to get a bit wordy, so this way I can write over that little lamb if I need to have that space when I write my message inside. Once all that stamping was done, I did color up the lamb with some Copic markers. I'll add a link if you want to see the process of just the coloring. You'll find that in the description of the video and in the top there. And then I fussy cut him out, and I'm just going to set him to the side while I work on the sentiment. Now I'm just going to trim that happy birthday down into a banner and then just notch off the side there so it's at an angle. I covered my card base with my die cut plaid panel, and then I also layered on top a white panel of cardstock that was die cut. And then I'm going to pop up that little lamb and the sentiment with some foam adhesive, and then just to kind of finish him off, he needed a little bit of decoration. I die cut some stars, used the yellow Copic marker so it would coordinate perfectly. And then I just glued those down around the little lamb with some liquid glue. And then for a little bit of sparkle, I grabbed my Wink of Stella pen in clear and I added some glitter to the bow and the stars to finish everything off. And here is the finished card. I just love that adorable little lamb and the fun Copic marker created plaid. And it's so fun how the sentiment starts on the front of the card and then finishes in the center. As always, I'll have all the supplies linked in the description of this video on my Dahlhouse Designs YouTube channel and blog. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed. Plus, if you have any questions or sweet comment, post below. Thanks again for creating with me. I hope you're inspired, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.